So, things have gotten quite interesting. Shadow has no past to remember. What does this mean?
Eggman energy detected. Ground base up ahead.
I wonder what the doctor really meant.
We must capture him first. Let's go.
Rouge, what are you talking about? You already know everything. Why don't you just tell Shadow? Why make him go through all of this when you yourself were there at the events of Adventure 2? You know everything. Omega doesn't, but you definitely do. So why don't you just tell Shadow? It would be so much easier. You have no reason to be doing all this, to be going after Eggman, any of it. When you can simply tell Shadow because you know everything. Anyway, Rail Canyon. As you just saw, we actually start a little bit further back than Team Sonic do. It's not very big in Rail Canyon, but for Bullet Station it is actually quite a much bigger level than Team Sonic go through. And all the problems that we have with rail grinding, well, since the levels are longer, it's even more of a problem here. So, I hope you like rail grinding, because you're going to be doing it quite a lot for Team Dark. Out of all the levels where Team Dark go through a longer version than Team Sonic, the rail levels are definitely the most noticeable. They are considerably bigger than what Team Sonic had to go through. Most of the time, really, the levels are just longer because of the enemies. In terms of the actual distance covered, they're the same. Again, the exceptions are mainly just going to be the rail levels and Grand Metropolis. Anything else is like the most minor of differences, like, say, the very end of Hang Castle. It's extended by a grand total of 20 seconds. I don't know why they bothered shortening it for Team Sonic, but it's a very, very minor extension of the level. But that's really the only one. And one could say that Team Sonic actually have a longer Mystic Mansion than Team Dark in terms of the distance they have to cover, since they have to do a bit more back and forth. My main complaint with Team Dark is just how similar they are to Team Sonic. Like even the characters' solo abilities are the same as what they were for Team Sonic. Like Shadow still does that flying kick, and yeah, they actually have enemies on the rails here. And Rouge still throws those dummy ring bombs. I mean, the only thing I can really tell that's different is that Omega has a different final attack in the fire combination. It still does the same basic thing, but at least it looks a bit different. That's the only difference they have in terms of moves. Like Shadow's Tornado is the same, the only difference is the colour, hence the name. Like Sonic's Tornado Jump is called Blue Tornado. Shadow's Tornado Jump is called Black Tornado. The developers were clearly feeling original. And yeah, see? It's the exact same thing. I don't know what Rouge is saying when she throws them. It just sounds like she's going, ha ha, ha ha. The same applies to her flying. Like, what is she saying there? Because it just sounds like she's going, ruh-ruh. Like, here it might be, she might be saying, we're off. And you can maybe very slightly make that out. It's like, we're off. But it's really hard to make out. It just sounds like she's going, ruh-ruh. Which is weird. And there is a pathway down there where those arrows are. It will lead you to a Team Blast thing. I don't know if it triggers these guys or not, because I never see them if I take that pathway. So I don't know if it triggers these Rhino, whatever they are. I don't know. Some characters will actually call them rhinos. If you look at the front of them, they do actually look like rhinos. It's like the closest thing we get to classic Badniks. They actually look like animals. It's weird how Sonic Heroes brings back so many elements of the classic days, but one thing they don't bring... One thing Sonic Heroes is actually the first game to not do is have animals inside the robots. And for a game that's based so much on the classic games, it's weird how that feature, it's been a feature since Sonic 1, Sonic Heroes is the first game to omit it. It's such a weird change for something that pays homage to classic Sonic. This is what I was thinking of. We actually have robots here. This is the way you want to go when you're doing the 100 enemies mission. This is where they start getting pretty annoying actually, because for the likes of the rail levels and especially the jungle levels, you pretty much have to play the level twice to get 100 enemies. Which really makes me hate Lost Jungle's alligator section even more, because there's no enemies there. That's like 20 seconds at least that you're wasting time on enemies that aren't there. Right. Oh yeah, I thought I'd succeed on getting that first enemy. Alright. Yeah, you can damage enemies by simply jumping on them. It doesn't do much, and it won't work on shield enemies except the stone ones. Again, take it slowly here because of those two trains. Fall in the middle, shouldn't be too much of a problem, there is a safety spring. And generally for some reason the characters completely ignore physics. Watch out for this one here. The characters will ignore physics sometimes. You go so fast down there, you fall down the platform, and there'll be grind rails in the middle and the characters will just stay stuck in the middle of the rail. No! Right, we're going this way. So let's stick to fly formation. Screw you guys. Oh, I just realised I picked up a special stage key. Damn. Time wasting. I'm not prepared to take the hit just to avoid a special stage. As much as I don't like the special stages. I really need to get out of that habit for a let's play. We don't need to waste time going through a special stage we've already seen. Yeah, let's go along here. I don't think they intended you to go along here, but hey, I can do it. There are armored trains at the end of the rails. Yeah, the rhino ones. And they will charge, sometimes they charge towards you, sometimes they don't. But regardless, they are enemies, so they will hurt you. So yeah, you have got to watch out for that. You can't homing attack into them though. So any of them that are suddenly coming right towards you, just jump and homing attack, and you'll be perfectly fine. Survey says, yeah. Generally the rail ones, you don't need a very high score to get the A rank on. They generally, because there's not many enemies, you generally have to rely on time bonus. And unfortunately I grabbed the special stage key, so let's just try and get through this as quickly as possible. We've seen all this. The only special stage that really needs to be shown off is special stage 6's bonus challenge, but we won't get into that until Handcastle. And so we can see the very unlikely event of me grabbing a hold of that pulley. See how many links I can get without having whilst boosting. And there I go. Well, the counter went down anyway. Oh, I missed. Look, where is Omega going there? I wasn't even holding the analog stick. He just did that. Whee! So this is fun. When you get to go fast, it's fun, but then that happens. And you fall so slowly. Yeah, every single time you get a level up, it makes like this weird sound effect. Almost sounds like something out of Star Wars. Whoa! Whoa! Alright. I'm surprised there isn't a hero Chao in there. Like, it's a neutral and a dark Chao. You think it'd be a hero and a dark Chao. Maybe colour means nothing in the end, since I would have... So Chi seems to be a neutral Chao, but he's with Cream all the time. I think he qualifies as a hero Chao. He is, by technicality, a Sonic hero. It's weird saying that. It's weird saying that in a singular way. Meanwhile, Shadow can pull his Michael Jackson as he goes backwards. Why are those spheres there? They're higher up. I swear they're not I swear they're not like that on the PS2. I swear they're in the right place on PS2, and that's weird. The PS2 version gets something right. I really shouldn't have boosted there for a slightly higher score. But anyway, I can see the seam of the background behind us. I don't know if because for some reason it keeps having the frame rate. That's why every character always looks like they're breaking apart. Which I cannot fix for some odd reason. It's just something that happens at 50 frames per second for some reason. Even though we're perfectly fine when recording The Simpsons Hit and Run. But now it's actually time for a slightly bigger level. This one goes back quite a long way, Bullet Station. It's quite a lot longer than Team Sonic. Once you get past the trains and fall straight down, you can't lose. There's not, because it, whoa!
It's starting to look like a base.
Here we go.
Prepare to infiltrate.
I need to stop talking when I do it on the loading screens. Alright, glitch time. I flung off the rail. Right towards the end, just before I got to the final cannon. That I was just saying, ooh, okay, well actually this... I was just praising the bobsled section for being easier than Team Sonic. And then the rail glitched out. I didn't even jump on the rail. Shadow just decided the bend wasn't there. And he just died. Ugh. So I apologize if at any point the loading, I'm like in the middle of talking about something on the loading screen. And then and now I'm cutting to something else. Whatever it was I was saying on the loading screen. Ugh. So yeah, this level, we haven't seen this for Team Sonic. Team Dark start considerably further back. This is also where Team Rose starts. Which is a bit weird. Team Rose actually goes through a majority of the Team Dark section. And I think this is the only level where that happens. So we actually have an extra cannon. There's 3 cannons here. Now one annoying thing about these balloons is that they have power cores in them. And see, like with that last one there, if I get the one on the left, I don't get that power core, but you're not going to know that the first time round. Like, you could potentially go through that not even knowing there's power cores there. And you hit the wrong ones, so all you get are the rings. And I don't like that. Hey, look how high I am. Okay, Shadow, the idea of the triangle jump is that you're supposed to homing attack onto the wall and stay there. So I don't know why you fell straight down. Anyway, hopefully it means I can have a few slightly less close calls this time around. I don't know how many times I nearly fell off the edge in the previous run. You just gotta hope nothing glitches. See, that's where the Rhino robots can start coming towards you. Now we actually go to this, well, we saw this for Team Sonic anyway. But I'm guessing it's like a homage to Hot Shelter in Sonic Adventure, since Gamma had to go through a level similar to this. And then we actually get to destroy the engine this time around. Right, Team Sonic had to avoid a giant spiky ball. Team Dark, I think every team, maybe, other than Team Rose, I believe, have to avoid one of those things. And, because I was able to stay in the middle rail, which I normally do for Team Sonic once I get past the spiky cannonball, means we can actually skip all the stuff down there and just go straight to the top of the tower. You don't need to take out both robots, you just need to take out the one on the left. Because you only want to activate that panel. You don't want to activate the one at the front. Otherwise it will lower this blue rail and you won't be able to fly up. You won't reach it. And this is the only time I can actually use Team Blast and not get hit by the spiky cannonballs that are not being fired when you activate the Team Blast. But they are there and they will hit you for every other team. Also, the shield can have an animation, but it can't bring up their life bars if I didn't have level 3 homing attack. That's why I was weirded out in Ocean Palace when that happened. It's like, why is nothing happening? It's because I was like at level 1 homing attack. Now one thing about those, the Rhino train robots, I think I might have mentioned this before, is that when you're doing the 100 enemy missions, you don't actually have to hit them. Once they get to the end of the rails, they will blow up. I don't think you actually get a score for it, but for the 100 enemy missions, even though you didn't actually do anything, it still counts when they explode at the end of the rail. So if you ever come across like a group of them like we do in the middle of Rail Canyon, don't worry about hitting any of them. Because all 4 of them, or however many it was, I think it's 4, that's 4 enemies that will just automatically be destroyed and it will still count. When you don't have to do anything other than make them move. And Team Dark, the entryway is sealed off from the lasers. Or by the lasers. So we actually have... Oops. We actually have to go that way. And that bit right there, that was a bottomless pit. I highly recommend just staying in a fly formation for that. I really would not recommend doing the light speed dash. Maybe you can just make it, but I definitely wouldn't recommend it. So don't light speed dash. Stay in fly formation there. And generally the characters will say something and it's incredibly obvious. Like Shadow will say, "Don't fall." So you don't say, Shadow. I mean, granted, Shadow speaks this from experience. Don't fall. Oh, come on. I should have fired out of that then. Stop wasting my time. Sometimes the characters can say stuff that sounds really not quite right. When you get to a bottomless pit area, Knuckles won't say, like, "Don't fall" or anything like that. He says, "It's really steep here. Be careful." It's like, that's not steep, Knuckles. That's non-existent. There's no slope there or anything. It's just the end. Like, that's not steep, that's nothing. And once again, you can try and switch to fly formation when it lets you. You don't get any sort of extra life for Team Dark there, unlike Team Sonic. And I think Team Chaotix get one as well. But you don't get anything for Team Dark, which is a shame. And that extra life I keep getting at the beginning of Rail Canyon, like when I hit the, just before I reach the first checkpoint, I always hit the spring on the left. It will launch you up to a 1-up. It's the only one that will launch you that high. That's only there for Team Sonic and Team Dark, even though every team reaches that area. It's not there for Rose and Chaotix. Destroy this weight, and we have one of these pull switches. Now for Team Sonic, the switch is actually just one of those you have to walk into and it activates. And it's on that fly formation path we saw there. It opens up that door and it'll be the same thing inside. But that's where it is for Team Sonic. I didn't show it off because I took the lightspeed dash path. But and that's how you get it for Team Dark. Just make sure you destroy the weight. So if it ends up crushing your power formation, you're either going to have to try and build up your Team Blast Gauge, or you've just lost your special... You're going to miss out on the key. And you're going to have to build out your Team Blast Gauge eventually, because there's no checkpoint, which means you can't get back your power formation to destroy the engine. Because only power formation can destroy the engine. I don't know why you don't get points for the capsules. I think I mentioned it in Team Side, but you don't get points for destroying the capsules. Even though you get points for breaking just about everything else, is generally 20. Like, you get points for destroying the cannons in the Egg Fleet levels, you get points for breaking crates. You don't get anything for the capsules. I mean, not even like the standard 20 points, that's normally what you get. And there's no laser here, this bit's much easier than Team Sonic. See, there were no points there. The only points I got there were from the item box. Alright, once you get past here, you can't lose anymore. I don't know if maybe the final laser path is just about big enough for you to take a hit and then take another hit. No, it's really not. You can't lose once you fall down. You can lose here, apparently. This is where I glitched out, so I'm going to take it nice and steady. Stay in fly formation. I got to the top of here, and then Shadow just went zooming off into the wall and everything, and I couldn't quite make it onto the rail path below. That bit over there is a Team Chaotix only area. But that's where I glitched out, so thankfully it didn't happen that time. So, you know what? I'm going to include that glitch. Even though it's an A rank run and everything like that, I can cut straight to that afterwards. But I'm going to include that glitch because it was such a weird event that happened there. I've never seen that before. So, yeah, bit of comedy. There isn't a Monty Python thing. Eggman really has an issue with making things look like himself. Hey, I got all three. The light speed dash. Sometimes this doesn't work, by the way. And I immediately got hit afterwards. This guy's actually for a promotion. I can usually do that better. Yeah, don't hit the bullets. They can still hurt you. Even though they're not moving, which means they shouldn't hurt you, they can still hurt you. But I'm guessing that's how physics works.
Perfect as always.
Yeah, perfect now. It wasn't perfect when you went to your death again. Just fall down. It's like, Shadow, I'm guessing you enjoyed your experience before. I don't enjoy it. Please don't keep doing that. Boss time!
We got him!
Capture him first. Then you can have your revenge, Omega.
Affirmative.
Ready all cannons! Open fire!
We have to get him, no matter what. All right?
Affirmative.
Oh, so now it's what happened to whatever it takes, he's mine. Any objections? Negative. Well, now it's Omega's time for revenge. And, well, he's pretty much the king of this first part. This is exactly the same strategy that we saw that I used for Team Sonic. That doesn't normally happen, though. So looks like we could be in for a slightly longer time. I normally have him down by this point. You can use the homing attack like I normally do in the second section. For some reason, my fire launcher's not working properly. Oh, come on, that hits it. Yeah, this is going to be a long one. This doesn't normally happen. It's not playing by the... And I got hit. It does get higher there because there are rails back there. I'm guessing it's like a loop. Right, mashing the button, hence the sound effects, which I'm not so good at doing on a GameCube controller. It's a lot more tiring. Come on. Before the rail. Before the rail. I should have him destroyed by this point. Oh, I should get that done a lot faster though. And there we go. That's an example of when he goes down into him just one fireball.
Mission completed.
You know, you think he would have made that Egg Hawk like the strength of the Egg Hawk. But he decided not to. I'm going to put a really weak version on it. At least the second half made up for it. And now for something worth conversation.
Shadow?
Let's go.
Alternate life form data has been copied.